look at this. We are live. It is 12 midday, and welcome to the Purple Sofa, and welcome to me, Annie D. I have to admit, the show today is much earlier than what we're used to. So I would, you're going to hear all the, it's all systems go. You're going to hear, the clanging. You're going to probably hear the doorbell. You're probably going to hear the lady coming with her bucket. Or, it has happened before where I'm doing an interview and one of my ladies has come to wave at my guest. So expect the best and expect the worst, because it all happens here. I'm a woman of contradiction. I really am. But you know what today's show is all about. It is all about getting real. And Thambi, hi, how are you? Melissa, how are you? Lots of people on right now. Good to know. Hello. Yeah, I do try and respond, honestly, especially at the beginning, because that's when I really have the time. But honestly, today it's all about getting behind the public mask of my guest, getting to know what they're really like and seeing what really makes them tick. I think this is what it is. And, a very warm welcome to my guest today. My guest today, he wears many hats. He's a dancer, he's a choreographer, he's a host, he's a judge. He's even a singer, for goodness sake. I don't know what else there's left to do. If it's possible, he is doing it, and he has shown this. Absolutely. If you see his social media, if you see him everywhere, he's got the same energy and zeal, on all platforms, and he does not lose an inch. And of course, the person that I'm talking about today, Dr. Terence Lewis. Now, you know what? I could say a lot about him, but the whole idea is for him to talk all about it himself from the horse's mouth. I could say anything, couldn't I? But let's see what he has to say, and he probably says it a lot better than I do. So let's see if he's on. I know there was a bit of a confusion over time, and I've got lots of love hearts here already. So, Priyanka, if you could just tell Terence that we are here and we're on live. There are people waiting. So hi, Priyanka, to you too. So that is Terence's colleague, so she's on there, so you can wave. You can wave too. Karthik, good to know that you've joined in. So today, as I said, season 2, Annie D Gets Real, and you'll find, if you look on my IGTV, you'll find a lot of people, a lot of celebrities and personalities literally letting their heart out. And I think today and right now is probably one of those moments. So let's see, is Terence here? Let's see if the connection holds. As I always say, always pray. Hello.
Hey,
Terence.
hi, how are you?
I'm absolutely fine. You tell me. You tell me.
All good. All good.
Well, that's good to know. That's a really good start. And first of all, thank you, Terence, for joining me today on this Saturday morning, afternoon. I never know what to call it. It's just one of those moments, isn't it? Where
Let's call it midday.
Midday. So I would say good afternoon to you. And of course, Anjali, lots of people, Ashish, all joining in right now. So thank you so very much for coming in. Now, first of all, Terence, I have listened, I have read, I have stalked. I'm a self-confessed stalker, so it makes it legit. Let me first of all say full admiration for you. Hats off to you for what you have achieved, where you are today. I'd say you're probably, for many people, the perception is you're at the top of your game. From where you have come, from where you have come from
comparison,
in comparison, so our perception, this is what it's all about, isn't it? From where you've come from your humble beginnings, to where you are today. And this is not, it may sound easy, but I'm sure it hasn't been. So, what it does, I think your life has been an inspiration to a lot of people to show them that all is possible. But maybe not possible for all. Now, I have listened to you, and, there's a bit of clarity we need there. And, what I loved about one of the things that what you said, and I heard this, I think not long, just probably yesterday, I think you mentioned, and it was very interesting, where maybe it's not for all, and what I liked, you're not selling pipe dreams. So I would love for you to get that message out right here, right at the beginning.
So a disclaimer that I do always before any of my talks or any of my TED Talks is that, opinions, views are seen from the lens of the person who's observing them and who's experiencing them. And it's also shaped by the kind of experiences that he has had from the past and how it has influenced him or her and shaped that narrative. So it's very important to understand that there can be no sweeping statements made about, saying that, I say that this is the way it is going to be and this is how it is, because one size doesn't fit all. That is very clear. Nature is in diversity and in inclusivity, which means there is no one way. You will always feel that even simple things like roses, there'll be red, there'll be yellow, there'll be pink. There is no one color of rose. So, there are so many variations to nature. Nature is always, expanding, just like universe. It's always expanding. It's always multiplying. It's always, finding newer ways to express itself and repeating certain patterns and starting certain things new. So no one philosophy, no one paradigm can be true for the other. There are very few universal truths, but there are many individual truths. So today's discussion or whatever I do say is coming from a perspective of what I think all my viewpoints are coming from a space from the life that I've lived and understood, and some things I may have not experienced, but maybe understood it intellectually or conceptually, and some things actually lived experientially.
Right. So, I mean, what? How long has this journey been? 25 odd years or something like that? Closer to about 25 years?
I think I'm 45 right now. And so I would say that, self-evaluation and, asking these questions started at the age of, I think, 10.
Oh, gosh.
I was
very enlightened.
Yes, because not enlightened, but I was very curious. That's the word I would use for myself. I was always asking questions, and my teachers found it so daunting because I would always ask, difficult questions which had no answers. Like I would go to the parish priest. I was raised as a Christian, and I would say, if God is omnipotent and if God knows everything, and if God is, almighty and all power, why did He create, other gods? How did He allow other gods to happen? So like, why did He not see this? If He knows everything, why did He not see this happening? Why is there so much of, division between one faith and the other? And the same thing with history. It's like, okay, in a certain country, the soldier is thought to be, a national, hero. And in the other country, he's considered to be an enemy or a terrorist.
Yes.
So, how is it okay? And how is it okay for somebody to murder somebody because they're doing it for their country? But what if they do it, for them? How does that feel to kind of, kill somebody and, for whatever reason? So, and how does one process that, even though it may be for somebody else? At the end of the day, you kill somebody whom you didn't know. So what goes on in a person's head. So trust me, I ask all.
You're still chasing those questions. Are you still chasing the answers?
There are no answers to them. There are no answers, right? So I've been asking these very awkward, difficult questions, and questioning everything in my life, because I always questioned too much. It's like, okay, if you say this, then why is it this way, and why not this way, and why do I have to be this way? Can you give me a reason? But who said this, and when did they say this, and why should I follow this, and what if I do that way, and why should I do it this way? So my parents just got like really
Terence, ab jao. Bahut ho gaya.
They were just like, okay, exactly. That's exactly what my mother says. You know what? You are really a pain. Okay, just go to your teacher and ask whatever you want to ask. Don't ask us or don't ask me, because I'm fed up and I have too many things to do in this house. So, you go figure out yourself. So, in a way it was nice. My mother was very sweet. I mean, I'm of course exaggerating, but she said to me very nicely. She said, I don't have all the answers, and some answers you'll find by yourself. So whenever you get time, just be relaxed. Just, just pray. She's very faithful. She says, just sit in the church, and this is how I get my answers. She's told me this. She says, I sit in the church and I just pray and I ask God to help me. So maybe you should do that. And, that went into, of course I did that, because that was my first, I was religious because my parents were religious. And then it went into spirituality. And then, it was a different process of, how you seek and find your answers. Yeah.
Well, I'm sitting on this sofa, and I think it's turn for, for me to ask the questions now. So my question to you, over the vast experience, it's a relief to have somebody ask the questions. So what have you learned? What are the, say, I don't know, maybe there are top three traits if somebody wanted to have dancing as a career, to choose dancing as a career, what kind of traits then, over the, you know, the experience that you've had, you know, over the last 40 odd years to the time now, would you say that they need to pursue a career like this? I mean, what kept you going then?
They need to have a lot of element of fire in their system. We are all made of five
Yeah,
elements. They have to be very fiery and energetic, because they have to be some people who really feel that they have too much of energy, and that
yeah,
energy needs a physical expression. So people who just naturally have that, like I as a
yeah,
kid was having too much energy. So even though I
yeah,
was scholastically inclined towards academics and books and
yeah,
things like that, but I had too much energy to sit in class. I was like, no, 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 I want to kind of play in the ground. No, 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 I want to go with my brother and, you know, play cricket. No, no, no,
okay,
I want to play with my sister. I was constantly like, I need to physically do it. Like, you know, I needed that. So I think it's very important, because dance is very physical. So it's very important to know that, you know, you have that, you know, spirit within you to be
yeah,
restless and to constantly need a physical expression of your energy. That's number one.
yeah,
Two is very important to, you know, really connect with music and dance and art. Basically, connect with art,
yeah,
and you know, just go there and, you know, experience it and enjoy it. And, you know, it all starts with us appreciating something and saying, wow, I love this. So
yeah,
you need to be inspired by somebody who moves well, right?
yeah,
And you see something in your childhood and you say, wow, I want to do this. So
yeah,
inspiration is very important. So one is that your own self, okay, your energy has to be, you know, needs a physical expression. Second is to see the inspiration from the outside, and then to, you know, you need to kind of, you know, put in the work. So you
yeah,
need to have the temperament, you know, want to have the, to put in the work, because I don't believe that, you know, dance is all natural. I mean, you can have a natural proclivity for certain things,
yeah.
but to really fine tune, you really have to put in the work.
Right. So I don't know how you found time after all of this, because suddenly Terence Lewis became Dr. Terence Lewis. So tell me a little bit about that. How did that happen?
So this is an honorary doctorate that is given to me by the National Institute of, National Center of Education and
Yeah.
Research, New Delhi, in association
Wow.
with the National American University in US. And this happened last 2019 or 18, I think.
Wow.
And it was a surprise when I got a call from the institute, and they said that, you know, we've been, you know, following you. You have done 21 years in the field of dance. You've been teaching dance single-handedly, and, you know, there's so many of people who have passed out,
Yeah.
and, you know, this is a body of work that you have created. I have done so many shows. I'm part of the ICCR, you know, Indian
Wow.
Center for Cultural Relations. So all of that is on the net, and, you know, they saw all of that and they said, we would really like to honor you with a doctorate, because you have been really persistent at this.
Yeah.
You have been like, you know, not like, okay, you start this way and leave this way. I've been teaching
Mhm.
dance, and I continue, even though I've got all my success and I'm a judge and all of it, but I still continue to teach dance. I
Wow.
still feel very passionately about it. So, you know, it's something that you don't do because, you know, or you want the
Yeah.
money or the fame. It's something that you feel that is very close to you, and you feel giving or teaching
Yeah.
or creating next level of dancers really fulfills you. So they also see that, they see that passion, and they see, you know, the consistency in which I have,
Yeah.
set up my institute, and how students, in fact, Laban, which is like the biggest dance institute in the world. Okay, Laban is like the mecca of dance for any dancer. You can do your PhD in dance from there. Anthony Bowles was the, director, and he came down to India a few years back,
Yeah.
and he happened, British Council was in touch with him, so they said, you should go, and he said, can I see some of the dance institutes in Mumbai, because he was in Mumbai, and one of them, he came to me to visit me, and I said, yes, come in, have a cup of coffee with us, and we were in the midst of conducting exams, the midterm exams for the
Yeah.
dancers. And he saw the way we were conducting the practical and the theory exams, and then he saw the question paper, and he said, "What level of course is this?" I said, "This is the, this is the 1 year program." And I said, "In 1 year, you're going to teach all of this?" So I said, "Yeah, this is the syllabus. These are the subjects. This is their journals."
Yeah.
He was so impressed by the way we had gone about doing it, and he said, "Where
Mm.
did you, figure this out?" I said, "No, this is between me and Maruk. Maruk is my partner, who has been with me for 21 years, and she's scholastically inclined. She used to be a French teacher, so we are both very
Yeah.
academically inclined towards our work. We approach it very academically." So he was like, "Wow, you mean you did this all by yourself?" I said, "Yeah, I mean, we kind of had a sense of what we were doing. We felt students should know about the anatomy. How can you be a dancer and not know about your anatomy?
Yeah.
How can you not know what your bone of the thigh is called? It's called a femur. And if there's an injury in your knee, it's a patella. And you don't call it a knee injury, or it could be a meniscus. You should know what is a
Oh,
meniscus from a
interesting.
patella. you
Yeah.
know. So, you know, you should know, you know, when the doctor says, oh, your cervical spine, so you should know immediately where your cervical spine is. Like as a dancer, you need to know your body.
Yeah.
So we were teaching anatomy, we were teaching physiology, nutrition, history of dance. He was so impressed. He said, listen, I would love to give your students, two of them, a free scholarship to come to Laban in England.
Wow.
So that
How
was my second
amazing.
student. So, you know, I mean, the kind of work that I really feel that a lot of people know only my work on TV, but my work as a
Yeah.
teacher and as especially Maruk and me, I would want to bring her name in because she's the one who really, really has been
Yeah.
single-mindedly and focusedly doing this. So all credit goes to her. She has been doing this for a very long time, and she continues to do it with so much of zest and passion. You know, because
Hmm.
I've moved on to, you know, doing more work on TV and things like that. You know, so
Yeah.
it's quite consuming. But Maruk has taken that, you know, baton forward
Oh, the
and
other
done so
side.
well. Yeah, so I'm really proud of that, and that's something that probably most people don't know, but that is
Hmm.
where my heart lies,
They do
teaching and
now.
training, and you know, yeah, and you know, and till today, like, you know, I mean, before the lockdown, I would go. In fact, 1 week before the lockdown, I went and I was teaching the institute, and I mean, you know, I have my weeks when I teach.
Yeah.
So I was teaching, and that was that was my last week, you know, with them, and I was like, okay, I'm going to see you next week, and next week we'll probably see you in the exams, and then the pandemic happened. So I'm just
Okay.
saying that, you know, I have not stopped teaching, and I love it, and I love to share, and I love learning also. So
I
learning and
know.
sharing, yeah,
You're a hard man to pin down, Terence. And now I've got you. I'm going to keep you just for a little bit.
yeah.
Don't be worried. No, but there's a question that I wanted to ask. And, I came to India, 9 years ago? I
Hmm.
am Indian, but I was born and brought up in England, but I'm here now. And, I come from a very traditional family. But what I've seen about our culture, it's very rich in the art forms and culture and the different kind of dance that we have in all regions, because they all have their regional dances. So, having known that and recognized that, what made you seek other dance forms outside? Because you went out to study, and you brought home a dance form like a souvenir, this contemporary kind of infusion.
Yeah.
So what made you go out then?
So, well, you know, I'll be very honest. Like, we were very influenced, basically, with Michael Jackson videos, and we were
Yeah.
watching a lot of Western dance when I was growing up. And you know, Bollywood also was aping the West a lot. So in many ways, we realized that the inspiration came from the West. So we said, instead of seeing,
Okay.
you know, the diluted version, let's say the originals, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what started with West Side Story, and that's what started with, you know, so many other, you know, musicals, Chicago and blah blah blah. And then you see Michael Jackson, then you see Bob Fosse, then you know, okay, there's a whole lot of things to learn from here. So you know, I naturally gravitate towards that. And then you know, I had a chance encounter when I was in the 8th standard in my school, where I participated in a dance competition. You know, I had not learned dance, but you know,
Hmm.
because I was known to take part in competitions, so I just took part.
Yeah.
And I won the first prize, and the teacher who judged it, she gave it to me, and she said to me later, "You are the best. Just remember that you got the first prize, but you're the best of the worst."
Oh,
And yeah,
harsh.
it was quite a slap on my face. And she was this American, Parsi, Gujarati teacher who had come down just for a few months because her husband was Indian. So she was there just taking classes, a few jazz classes. And she says, so I said, what do you mean like that? How can you say that to me? And I've always been somebody who can go up and be very confrontational. So I said, I
Yeah.
need to get an explanation for this, you know. So she was like, "Yeah, you need to you think you're really good because you are good because you've got confidence because of being on stage, and you've got great stage presence. That no, I'm not denying that, but your technique sucks." And I'm like, "What is technique in dance?" Because I had not known that there's
But
something
that it
called technique.
sucks. That bit would have got me.
Yeah, I just thought you just dance, you just have fun, and you just throw your hands, and you know, you just express, and you know, you do everything. You know, you're naive. You know, I'm talking about the '80s. And then she said, "No, there's technique, and you need to know what that is, and you need to come and train." And I said, "Okay, but I mean, where?" So she said, "I'm training for a few months, and I'll go back to the US. So come." So I went. I saw the class. It blew me away. It kind of, you know, brought me into the world of jazz. So she was
Yeah.
teaching jazz. So that's how I got into
Oh,
jazz, you know,
lovely.
modern jazz. And then a few years later, you know, I you know, shifted gears from dance, teaching dance. I was teaching jazz and hip hop, basically video styles. It was not known hip hop that time. So jazz and video. So combination of that, I was teaching kids, you know, and kids wanted to learn only Western dance because they didn't want to
Mm.
learn Indian dances. They wanted to learn something that was more young, that was more youthful. Cultural dances, people don't learn because they already learn it while the culture. Like for example, you don't specifically go for Garba classes. You
Yeah.
learn it during the festival itself.
Yeah.
You
Yes,
know,
you're right.
classical dances are very tough. Not everybody wants to do classical dance because it's very form based and it's very strict, like Bharatanatyam, Kathak. Those
I
are
tried.
very well received in our country by people who really want to follow, and there is no dearth of those classes either. But there was a huge demand for Western because that was something that was new, was different,
Yeah.
and so it started with that. It was nothing that I didn't embrace my culture or something like that. I already knew my some parts of my culture like folk dance and things like that because in school.
But you're
But
adventurous.
yeah, but
That's what you are.
yeah. So and then after a few years I went to America and I was uh, at Ailey doing the summer school. Then I was doing also Broadway at Broadway Dance Center.
Wow.
So yeah, so what happened was that you just get influenced by so many of these teachers. So all of that took shape, and then a few years later, I got a chance to study contemporary dance thanks to Susanna Linker. So all in all, I would say that I just traveled more internationally, and the beauty of contemporary dance was that it integrated Western and Indian concepts. So I was able to integrate my Indian culture into the Western art form.
Lovely.
So
Lovely.
that into contemporary was one of the best things. And I realized that there was where my journey now starts exploring only in this, as opposed to where I was constantly trying to do different things. I finally found, my
calling. Your
yeah,
niche.
yeah.
But you're saying your journey started, say, probably 40 years ago. But if I look back 40 years, believe me, I can, much more than 40 years. That's all I'm saying. Is that, dance wasn't massive on this massive scale before. It was behind the scenes. It was an addition to movies. It was an additional piece of art form. But suddenly, along the line, it came to the big stage. So, what would you say was responsible and who or what was responsible for that big change in perception about dance? I mean, now it's on the big stage. It's a massive thing. So what changed along the line? Because I'll tell you something. If my brother said to my dad 40 years ago, 50 years ago, well, Dad, I think I'm going to go into dance. I think my dad would have said, you know what, get on and eat your breakfast. Get on with it. You need to be a doctor or a dentist. So when did the dance come in a big way? What was responsible for that, do you think?
So of course, everybody went through that whole Billy Elliot phase, of our lives when we were young. And it was just that, I was quite obstinate, and I had come from a very simple, humble beginnings. So post 15, my dad was very clear. All 8 of us, we are 8 children, said you have to kind of find your way out. I'm not going to take care of you or educate you. It's your life. My job is done. Like, you figure it out. So we were all working, and we all were paying our own college fees, for our own clothes, for our own travel. Contribute, and he also said you have to contribute in the house. If you want to stay in this house, you contribute in the house. So
well, we did it.
yeah. So all 8 of us, like since post 15, we were told very clearly, if you want to stay in this house, you will work and you will contribute in this house. So if you want food and if you want mom to cook food and all that, so then you need to be a part of this whole economic process. So I think I started to teach. I got lucky and I got introduced to teaching dance because one of my friends, sister was, giving tuitions, and her tuition child wanted to kind of get into a dance competition. Now I went there, I taught the kid won, the mother was excited, and she said, okay, listen, I want to continue. You're very good in teaching. My child is so indisciplined and so naughty, but somehow he looks forward to whenever you come, he looks forward, and you're quite strict, and nobody else has been very strict.
That's suspicious. When somebody says that, that's quite suspicious, isn't it? My child is naughty, but he looks forward to you coming.
Yeah, because I conduct myself very well, even though I was very young. I was only 17. But I've always had this whole teacher syndrome. I'm the teacher and I have to behave a certain way. So even though I was very young, and the kid was only the kid must have been 5 or 6. But I was like very, very like, and also I had a lot of nephews. Like I raised many of my nephews, like my Glenn and, Sean. These are all my my sister's kids. And they used to stay at my house. So I looked after them. Like, I literally looked after them. So I knew, okay, this is the way to do it. And I was firm. I was very strict with them, and, got things very done. But at the same time, very loving and caring, and at the same time, very strict. So I think they understand that when you be strict, at the same time you are showing that you care. That's a very different thing. So taking your children into confidence and telling them that this is what you're going to be doing, this is the target we want to achieve, and we're going to do this together, this is going to be teamwork. I think that was, I don't think that kid was ever spoken to that way. So I think the parents were very impressed with the way I counseled them and the way I approached them. And then the entire family started learning with me, the kids of the family, then the building, and then it went on and on and on.
God. The
And
following.
yeah, so I was already earning through dance, and I was paying for my fees and everything else. My parents were like, okay, good, it's great for to tide over bad times, but hopefully you will, you're studying hotel management. Earlier I was supposed to study medicine, then I switched from microbiome to hotel management, and it's okay, he'll finally get into a normal job and dance will
At
be
some point.
over. But by the time I finished my hotel management degree, I again got my campus interviews, and I was in 2 jobs already in the hotel industry. I also had a flight purser's job in my pocket, and yeah, I had applied for that too because I wanted to travel the world.
What question? Did you ever sleep in between?
I like, if there was an autobiography that needs to have a title of mine, it would be written Insatiable, because I'm always like, I never want to kind of just, I never think I've done anything in life, because I always feel, okay, there's something more that's not been done. Let's go. Let's conquer that world. So
your life would have sequels. So your book would never end. Is that what you're
never
saying?
end. Yeah. It's never started. It'll never end. I'm just discovering the universe. I'm here to discover the universe, discover people, and discover life, and in general. So,
you have.
So by the time I finished, I was 3 years into teaching dance house to house. I had a prolific journey earning money, and I was now earning much more than whatever was being paid for, whatever was being offered to me on the campus interview. And I was like, so I told my family, I don't think I'm going to take the jobs, because I'm already earning independently more, and I'm only teaching on Saturdays, Sundays, and here I'll be working 5 days a week. And they said, no, but it's not secure. What happens if you're injured? Provident fund, blue, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't believe in this old school of thought, and I want to be my own boss. And I have run too many things in the past. Since 15, I've been organizing stuff, even in school. I've been organizing, Children's Day, Parents' Day, Teachers' Day. Getting things organized has been my thing. Like, okay, putting people together, saying, okay, let's come together. Give me your ideas. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this.
Yeah.
I've always been that kind of a person. So, they've seen me work like a dog. Like, they're like, what are you doing? It's got nothing to do with your college. I said, yeah, but I want to do this. I want to introduce something new in my college, and my college will now have this day. I have gone to the principal, written an affidavit saying that we need to do this. And the principal has agreed. Like, for example, in hotel management, in the course, they never celebrate Teachers' Day, and they never celebrate certain days. And I was like, let's do it. And they said, no, we don't have the sponsors. I'll get the sponsor. So, taken permission, walked around the shops in Dadar Catering College, and got from, various places money to, sponsor. So they've seen me like this. Like, they've seen me that once I put my mind to it, I'll get it done. So they were like, okay.
Perfect.
So, they were like, okay, do it, because, but we are so ashamed of saying that you're a dancer. I said, I don't care about that too much. And, we will figure that out. And it took me also a while, because I was like, shit, what do I say? Because I know I have worked very hard. I know that I have the intelligence, but the respectability wasn't there for dancers. And it came only after maybe Dance India Dance, where we actually, that is the reason why I did Dance India Dance. I never did Dance India Dance because, it was going to give me, like, if I tell you how much I got paid for Dance India Dance, everybody who's here will say, what? Why did you even do it?
Go on, tell us.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's very embarrassing to say that. It'd be inappropriate. Sorry?
Well, actually, no. As in lesser or more? Is it lesser or more?
It's less. Very, very less.
It's less. All right, okay. Well,
not less like less, but very, very less.
But it shows your drive. It shows your focus.
So I was like, they were like, no, but you're new. And I said, okay, that's fine. I said, then I realized it was about judging and also choreographing. That was the interesting part. I said, oh, choreography. So I have to choreograph it. I said, that's great. And they were like, are you excited about that? I said, yeah, I mean, I'm more interested in the choreography. And all the others whom they had approached earlier before me, all the big names were like, we're not going to choreograph. We want to judge. So I was like, no, I want to choreograph because I want to kind of really show my work. So it was so they were like, this guy is completely going the other walking the,
As
thinking
usual.
the other way. So yeah, so I mean, it took a while for dance to, to answer your question. It took a while, and when Dance India Dance came in, one of the reasons was I'm going to make the audience realize how insane dancers work to, to
Yeah.
make dance look so great and to get the respect back. So my only intention for doing Dance India Dance was to show my choreography for sure, but it's also to let
Yeah.
people really realize that dancing is not just entertainment; it's art, and to
Yes.
respect it and
I
make it
mean,
so popular that tomorrow students can say or kids can say to his mother, I want to be a dancer. Or rather, right now there's another problem. It's a Frankenstein monster now the parents are like, you have to learn dance, you have to be famous. It's the opposite.
Terence uncle ko dekho.
uh, Totally.
But listen, but you've choreographed. Now you say you love choreography, but you have choreographed, at least what, 20 odd movies? I mean,
10,
Lagarde,
12,
10,
10 or
12
12, yeah.
movies,
Yeah.
but 10 or 12. I like the way you dilute it. But you've worked with the biggest of stars. Who would you say was your best student of all the people that you've taught?
There's a girl called Antra Mali.
Yeah,
Okay, she was a very serious student. I did a film called Nach with her.
yeah,
It is my only film that I really feel that okay, she has really understood the essence of contemporary dance and really done a great job. The rest was all like just using a formula and doing things that everybody knows and nothing experimental. The same old. I'm not proud of any of it. It's just like okay, fine.
okay.
Anybody could have done it, you know just somebody who knows how to move could just probably do it. But in Nach, I choreographed things that were not easy to choreograph.
Yeah.
And there was a certain body language that she needed to. So she worked 3 months with me. So I know she's
Mm.
not famous, but I need to give the devil the due. She really worked hard. She came every day, trained with me for
Yeah.
3 months to do the role.
Wow. I mean,
Yeah.
but you've also been blessed, though. I mean, you got to know and observe and probably work with Saroj Khan as well, didn't you? RIP.
Not, I mean, yeah, I mean, I
Or
did get
observe.
to work with her in a very different way, like as a co-judge
Yeah.
twice. So my first show was not Dance India Dance, was something called Dance Dance on Sony Television in 2007, before 2 years before Dance India Dance happened. And that was a show with her, me, and Weberby Merchant as judges. And it was not a great concept. The show didn't work very well. It was a dud. But I got to know her there, and then I got to know her later, 5 years later, when I did a
Yeah.
show with her, and that was when I really got to deeply know her, because then she started talking to me. We had great conversations,
Yeah.
and I saw her at work, choreographing the kids. It was amazing. It was amazing to see her, and her. There are certain quirks about these old school choreographers, the way
Yeah.
they conduct themselves. They're in an institution by themselves. They have certain eccentricities, and a lot of people were like, how can you tolerate this, because this is not cool in the modern day. I just feel no, but they're this old school people. They have a certain way of shoutings and reprimanding, and it may sound not right in today's time, but I think that the last of the generation,
Yeah.
and it would be it is who they are, and I wouldn't want them to change anything about them. So, and at least I'm okay with her being the way she is with me. So she was very sharp. She's a very sharp woman.
Mm.
So very, very sharp, very, very clever in knowing exactly how to extract what from an artist. So yeah.
So, what would you say that one thing that you've taken from her that you use today? Could you name one thing?
uh I think the art of less is more.
Ah, okay.
Okay, where she would
Yeah.
not do too many movements like today's choreographers, or when I see there's too much of body movements.
Yes.
So I think what is important, she used to work on the face and just subtle movements in the body.
Mm.
There used to be a movement very subtle,
Mm.
and hers was very cinematic, so not meant for stage.
Yeah.
So she knew how to kind of choreograph for cinema, okay, more
Yeah.
than stage. Some people know how to choreograph for stage, and some people know how to choreograph for cinema. There are two different ways of choreography. It's a very different approach.
Yeah.
Cinema gives you certain liberties. Cinema has its own, it's much more easier in many ways. It's a more longer craft. It's
Yeah.
painstaking. Whereas choreography on stage, choreographers require very talented dancers. You can't cheat in
Yeah.
stage choreography. If you're bad, you're bad. In cinema, you can cheat. You could be a terrible dancer and you can still look great. So Saroji knows how to kind of make you look great and capture the essence. So instead of the body, how can the face capture the essence of the movement?
Yes.
Or how can one tiny movement can capture what four different movements won't? So
Wow.
that's an art.
Amazing. But you know, around 2013, am I correct in saying you took a momentous decision, did you, to decide not to do any choreograph any movies anymore? Is that true, or was that just fake news?
No, it is absolutely true. It was a statement I had given to one of the journalists. It
What
was
happened?
nothing. I was just happy, and spoiled by television. I was one of the most sought out after judges, because
Yeah.
I think in our country they couldn't find a judge who was trained and who had technical knowledge, and who would be specific.
Now, Terence, judge, host, dancer, you're absolutely everything. And I've seen such talent on your shows that I have been shocked. I've always wondered, where on earth have these people been hiding? Has there ever been a time where you've thought, oh my God, how amazing, this guy actually needs to be on this side of the bench?
No, no, because there are two different things. You cannot confuse two things with one.
Right.
Being a dancer and being a performer is a beautiful gift in itself.
Yeah.
And, they have their own space, and I'm not bigger than them. In fact, it's a more heightened space to be an artist.
Yeah.
We are not judges. We are just evaluators. Okay.
Right.
So we're just evaluators. So, they should enjoy their journey of being the artist. Why would they
Yeah.
want to sit on a chair and just give, armchair advice? If
Yeah.
they have a full youth in front of them, they are in the midst of their prime, they should be dancing. They should be showcasing the world. They should be making the world a happier place. That's a more
Yeah.
powerful place. The powerful place is not me sitting in the judge and giving a comment. I'm just going to
Yeah.
accelerate and make people realize how amazing he or she is. That's my job, to make sure that the audience appreciates it. And that itself is a craft and an art.
Yes.
So not
Yes,
everybody
absolutely.
understands it. So you may be very good at your craft, but you may not have the gift of articulation. You may
Yes.
not have the ability to perceive dance. So you could be a great dancer and be a horrible teacher, for example.
Yeah, I agree.
You're only interested in showing off. So then you're not concerned about teaching. So don't confuse teachers with dancers. And don't confuse dancers with teachers. And don't confuse dancers with as a judge either. Because each of them have very different roles and specific, aptitude and attitudes that are required to, really excel. So it also requires a certain maturity. When you're sitting in a chair, you need to have a certain maturity as to how do I build this dancer up so that the audience really understands and appreciates. So, it's not about evaluating and judging and saying, I like this, or you were good, or you were bad. It's about letting the audience. So my job is not to judge. My job is to make sure that the craft that he's at or she's at, is like well explained to the audience, so the audience can understand and appreciate, because audience doesn't understand technicalities. Audience doesn't understand the hard work put in. They might think he did it. But when me as a person says, do you know how amazing it is to see you create that line, and it was so impressive how you went into that. That's when people start saying, oh really, was it? If we were not there, okay, the dancers would then probably not be so appreciated as they are with the audiences. Our job is to enhance. We are like salt. We're not the main course. We're just adding more to the value of whatever the meat is, which is the dancer.
Yeah, so, like I've heard you say, you're less of a judge and more of a mentor. I mean, this is what I've heard you say.
Exactly.
So, I love it. So what would you say was your most memorable occasion, and all the shows that you've done where you've been judging or mentoring, to be precise? What would you say was one of your most, memorable occasions or performance that you've ever witnessed?
I think every performance gives me a high when I'm performing on stage, per se. To have, for example, in Vienna, having the whole city, almost like 50,000 people dance, watching me and making them do, Indian dance, with
Yeah.
me was powerful, and then watching,
Yeah.
the entire Indian dance aspect that I had put up for the opening festival of Vienna, dance festival, 5 years ago or 8 years ago. Or, for example, touring with Rahman for a show where we were touring in like 19 cities in the US. And, they were all different songs, and I had choreographed it very, very differently. And in one of them, I was there myself, Chandare, watching the entire audience, watch us live with live singing and with Rahman singing.
No. Wow.
It was again
I can
magical.
imagine.
So
But
yeah, there have been plenty magical moments. There's no one
yeah,
specific.
I can
Every time I perform, I feel I get a kick and a high. So that is why I feel, when you ask that question, there should be on the other side. Trust me, I've said this very often in my own show. I really, really sitting in that chair say, I wish I could be there dancing. I wish I could be the artist. I wish I could have somebody say, you're amazing.
Yeah, I can imagine actually. Yeah, because you need that affirmation.
Because more than the affirmation, it is. I signed up for dance not to become a judge or a teacher. I signed up because I wanted to experience the joy of doing it. But because of certain reasons or whatever it is, I've moved on to being a teacher, then to choreographer, and now to a judge. So now I'm not doing what I actually signed up for.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know.
And a big part of me still wants to do that. A big part of me still enjoys being on stage and dancing it and feeling it, because it's another high. I cannot explain it to you. I mean, there's no drug equivalent to what it is to kind of, when you're so good at when you really practice and you're good at your craft, and you're able to connect with your song and your emotions. And then there's this beautiful stage and space, and you forget the audience and you just go and you just get so immersed in it. It's a trip.
No, I can imagine. So let me tell the listeners, this is the trip that you want to go on. This is the drug that you want, okay? This excitement that comes from inside, not anything else. And it's all there. Natural. You don't need anything else.
It's a very natural high, It's a natural high to be on stage, to dance, but you have to really do it well. So I'm not like, okay, to just say, okay, just go up and dance on stage. I'm not like, that's the worst trip you can have, because you don't know what is happening. It's no. I really want to rehearse. I want to be sure. I want to be confident. I want to practice it. It has to be in my body. And then you know that, okay, today is my day to perform. And today the cameras will be there, or the audience will be there. And I have to lose my perspective of the camera and the audience and just go for it. I think last year I did a show in Bangkok for a company. There were like around 20,000 employees. And it was a massive they sell something online or something like that. And there were 20,000 employees in that stadium. And I was like a bit shocked. I said, okay, I asked the organizer, is there a celebrity coming, because 20,000 people and it's a big company. They said, yeah, it's you. Me?
Wow.
Me, like they're coming, they want to watch me. He says, trust me, we will announce your name and you see what's going to happen. Wow. And I had no clue, and the moment they announced my name and I came on stage, I never felt that kind of, the kind of feeling that, because these are people who stay in Bangladesh and Pakistan and, Nepal and Morocco and, Egypt and all over the world. Okay.
Imagine the impact.
And they have all been watching TV at some point of time, when they were growing up, and they were all there, and they had this connect, and my AV came on my opening AV, and I remember me and my dancers were like, we all were like so overwhelmed, because this is the first time so much of love was given to a dancer.
Yeah. No, I think it's fantastic.
I'm not a star. I'm not a star kid. I'm not an actor.
But you are something.
Yeah, but it's just my talent. Like, I'm on TV, and it was very humbling. It was very humbling.
Let me tell you, you're not only just you're not just about all of this, but you're also quite funny. There's a lot of energy there. Now, let me read. What is this Yogeshwari? What is it? Yogeshwari. What is this? Yes, what is this?
So Yogeshwari basically comes from the word. It's a derivative of Chummeshwari, which is my word which I had coined in Dance India Dance. When somebody does a phenomenal performance, I always say Chummeshwari. It's like the kiss of God. It's that beautiful, because it's made from two words, Chumma and Ishwar. So kiss of God. Okay. Then when I was, doing, I was just thinking like, what can I do? 'Cause I get quite bored in between, the performances of the kids. We're always sitting and we're like, Arey yaar, now the setup will happen, and we're waiting for the shots. And so I started video logging and, kind of pulling people's legs, and that became. I started it as a fun thing,
Yeah.
and I call it as
It
a
is
video
funny.
log. So it's vlog, like a video log.
Yeah.
So video log Ishwari. And and everybody was making fun of me. I remember it was the episode on which I was being made fun of because of my word called chapalta, because I'd said one of the kids was really quick-footed, and I used the word, a pure Shuddh Hindi word called chapalta. And to that, Remo had come as a guest judge, and he took off on that and said, who the hell says a word like chapalta? And then Geeta took off, and I said, these two friends of mine, they're always pulling my legs. And it was a great fun, and everybody started laughing about that word chapalta and all of that. So then it became like, okay, Terence uses very technical words to explain dance in Hindi. So I said, okay, I'm going to ask Shuddh Hindi words
Class
in
level
Logeshwari and ask people to, tell me what is the meaning of it. Like, what is the meaning of, what is the Hindi word for virus? Because most of the times we use the same, even in Hindi, we use the same word, but there is a word for virus.
Yeah.
What is the word for quarantine? What is the word for social distancing?
Well.
So like that, okay, in Hindi. And the same thing for, what is a word for algebra in Hindi?
Oh,
What is
God,
a
don't
word
even ask
for...
me.
Yeah, so, it was all of that. So, the whole idea was to kind of find quirky words, simple words that we all know, and find out what is the meaning of it in Hindi.
Well, hang on a second. Now, what would you say if I said that Nora Fateh and Geeta, they came to me and they said, so they came, what would you say if they came to me and said, you know what, this guy has made our life a misery. There is no chair or table that we can hide under now when he comes to us. Could you please turn the tables on him? Now, what would you say to that? This is ironic. Because this is a woman who can't read or write Hindi. So it's quite ironic. And
so they're going to turn the tables on me and ask me things in Hindi?
No, well, listen. So they asked me to do it for them, which is quite funny. Well, but did they? What would you think if they did that? Do you think it's true? Do you think it's possible?
Do you think it would be possible?
Yes. Well, they didn't. They didn't. I was joking, but
yeah. I thought as much. Yeah.
They're not going to. No. So listen, I'm going to give you very quickly 3 words. All right. And this is going to be really funny. And this is probably one contest that I would love you to win, because I would hate to have to pronounce these words. All right. Now I'm going to give you 3 words in English.
And I have a disclaimer.
Go on.
My Hindi knowledge is concerned with knowledge that is concerned with dance. So anything related to dance, I will know.
That's
anything
not fair.
related to anything apart from dance, not my world, not my circus, not my monkeys.
These are from your world. They're from your world, because they're very general. Okay. Should Hindi ka translation hame chahiye.
Let's go.
Now you can phone a friend. You can phone Geeta. You can phone Remo. You can phone anybody, Nora, and you can ask. And you have a 50-50. Now that's if you're right. That's the sound that you get. Okay. Now the should Hindi for responsibility.
Zimmedari.
No, should Hindi. Is it Zimbadari? Is that Urdu or is that Hindi?
Responsibility, no?
Yeah. Okay. TikTok.
Okay. To be zimmedar. To zimmedar rehna. Atmanirbhar rehna.
Okay. So, now you're getting me to pronounce this, which is even funnier than your answer. Okay. So, Uttardayitva.
Uttardayitva. Yeah, that's right.
Sure,
you're right.
Thank you.
Uttardayitva is right. It's the right word for that, yeah.
Okay. Awareness, to be aware. Awareness.
Sachet rehna.
Chetna.
So Sachet is the, taken from there. So Chetna, Chetna is consciousness.
Yes, consciousness.
So to be aware is consciousness. So Sachet rehna, to be aware, to be alert.
So, host.
Matlab, What kind of a host? Like a guest inviting host or a parasite host? What is it?
I would say, look, you know, you're asking me these kind of in-depth questions. So a host, I would say to host something. You're a
To host
host.
something. To host
To
something.
host. To be a host.
Um, to be a host. Um,
Please get it right. And please have the answer that I've written down with great difficulty.
to be a host, huh? To compare to, matlab, किसी का, no, I don't know this one.
Okay. Okay. So I hope they're watching everybody. There you go.
Yes.
Right. It's Aditya. Have I said this right?
Aditya.
Aditya. Aditya.
Aditya.
Aditya.
Aditya is a ray of the sun.
Not Aditya. Aditya. Now, I've got someone to tell me this, okay? So, and I said to these are people that have actually studied Hindi. So if I'm wrong, if there's another version, then you have to tell me
It
now.
could be right, but maybe I'm not hearing it correctly because Aditya, what you are
Oh,
saying, is a ray of a sun. Okay,
no.
so
Maybe I'm saying it wrong then. Aditya, Aditya. And I was told about short matra, no matra, half sounds, and I'm
yes,
thinking, come
yes.
on.
Sorry about that.
You don't. You know what? You get half a hamper.
Okay,
You get half
cool.
a hamper.
Done. I'm happy with that.
So you know, because I've seen this Yogesha, and you've had such a laugh and a joke at people's expense, and I have to say, you got me going as well because I had to
Yeah,
scroll.
but you have to realize one thing, and I want to kind of say this to you. My Logeshwaris are never they're very fun, but they're not making fun of anybody.
I've been educated. I've been
Yeah.
educated.
So if you see the tone in which I keep my Logeshwari, it's fun. In fact,
Yeah, it is.
people are allowed to make fun of the question. In fact, they are allowed to make fun of me. So most of the times, Geeta is making fun of me. So if you see Geeta, if you see Malaika, they are making fun of me. They're literally pulling my leg. They're saying like, "Please get out of our faces." And I've
Yes,
kept all
I
of
see
that.
this. Look,
So
I get it.
that is what it is. It's not like putting somebody in the spot, but it is just having a great laugh at the awkwardness. That's about it.
No, it is funny, and I'll tell you why, because it reminded me of a time when I was trying to communicate with my ladies, okay? And I was really trying to dig into my knowledge of Hindi words so I could communicate. So I said, just tasla le lo, usme zara pani dal dena, right? So tasla, and they looked at me very blankly, and I said, just a pani dal do, bhai. And they said, what, bucket? And I thought they completely destroyed me. They use so many English words, and I'm trying to find the Hindi, and I thought it was a waste of time. They know more than I do, obviously. So it just reminded me of that time, and I thought that was hysterical, actually. There are so many occasions where this has happened. But you know what? You're a man of many talents, Dr. Lewis. You're a man of many talents, I have to say, because not only are you doing all of this, but you've somehow found time to sing as well. Now we're running out of time, and you know I would have got you to sing a line, but we've run out of time. But I have to say, you know what? Are we going to hear more of that? Are we going to hear more singles? Are you going to drop any more numbers in the future?
Yes, that's the idea. That's the plan. And apparently, the first video really did well, and got a very good response to it. So I'm looking forward to doing more, and probably also releasing things in the same lines, and I'm really open to life. I've never said no to anything. An opportunity comes, and I'm like, I'm going to make the most of it. I'm going to work hard and prove myself and be worthy of that opportunity. So there's a beautiful song. If there's one song that really, really epitomizes me, I would say it's a Whitney Houston song, Give Me One Moment in Time.
Oh, you see, what a perfect time to actually end on. And you're right, it is a beautiful song, and it reflects you, because you need so many, the things that you're doing and the way that you're using your time, and you're using every minute, and that's all you want, to do something else. And let me say, Terence, you've been an absolute inspiration. You've been an absolute star. Thank you so much for coming on today. I know you're absolutely busy, and it's been hell to try and get this time as well. But thank you so very much.
Pleasure.
You know, you've made me happy. You've made so many listeners happy. But I say keep on going. Drop those numbers. take the stage by storm. And please do also give my blessings to Arman, the guy
Sure.
that you are, you're getting out there. And I love that on your academy. I think I saw in your weekend adda.
Yeah.
And I will say this again, anyone who sees Arman's stuff, and if you, this is what you're saying, right? Is it you're actually charging for his techniques and all the money just goes to him?
Goes to him. It has
Um,
already gone to him. It's already gone to him. It has really
Fantastic.
helped him, and we're happy that he's supported. And we have our online courses going on. So all those interested in UK or abroad who want to kind of just learn dance from us, you can just get onto my website terencelewis.com, and you will see a plethora of courses which are for beginners, for people who have just started in various styles, various levels, and really great classes to choose from, and also live tutorials, so you can really understand the basics, and really good teachers. So in case you're really interested in dance, to log on and make the most of it and support dance and support art. Yeah, God bless. And
Absolutely.
most importantly, dance not for because you want to be a dancer, dance for your happiness.
Absolutely. Fantastic stuff. Terence, thank you so much.
God bless.
Thank you. And listeners, thank you.
Yeah,
Bye-bye
thank you to
now.
all the listeners and all the people out there. God bless you. Have a lovely weekend. Take care.
Bye-bye
Ciao.
now.